Now it's business. We're talking overspending, which actually means spending more money than one can afford. Now it's especially common when easy credit is available. Now, how dangerous is this habit to one's finances, and how can one get out of it? That is why, to answer these questions, we have Sharrif Gbadamosi in the house. It's great to have you, sir.
Thank you.
You are
Fantastic
welcome.
to be here again.
You are welcome.
You. Yeah.
This is a challenge that has plagued almost everybody at one time or the other.
Yes, absolutely. Each and every one of us have gone through it, yes.
Overspending. And let's get straight to it. Overspending, how can it be avoided entirely? Or if you're already in it, how can you get out of it?
Okay. I think what I'm going to address is for people that already knee deep into it. I mean, I came out of it many, many years ago, but I had to be very deliberate about the whole thing. So what tends to happen is you're earning, let me just paint a little picture for you. You're earning 10,000 naira a month, just hypothetically. And your expenses every month is about 15,000 naira. It means that you're running a deficit. Deficit means, you know, you're spending more in the minus for about 5,000 naira. You repeat the same thing the following month. Guess what happens? Your deficit has risen to 10,000 naira, which means that your debt is now as much as what you're earning, your salary every month. So you do that the third month. It means that your lifestyle is now being completely governed by debt. By debt. And you keep on doing that, you get in trouble. Where does this extra money come from? What you find is that many of us actually borrow. From a friend here, you know, some small money here, 1,000, 2,000, and it accumulates, and it gets very, very tedious for us to do it. Now, if you're already the kind of person that is in that situation, you have to have a way in which you have to look at your entire, you have to get a perspective. Okay. That's the best word I'm going to use. You have to get a perspective of your entire financial system. Okay. Last week we talked about having a money system. Okay. This is part of what I'm talking about. So what you need to do, first of all, is to make a conscious list of all your guaranteed income. That's the first thing you do. First thing you get a list of all your guaranteed income. There's what you know exactly is coming. The sure money. Yeah, the sure money. Then you also make a list of all your necessary expenses. Necessary expenses. Necessary. The ones that you need. That's right. Not the ones, exactly, not what you want. Not the ones that are nice to have and all that. We all have that. No matter how low our income is or how high our income is, we always have this unnecessary expenses. We don't know, we just subconsciously do it. It's part of our habit. So when you have this two, you have the totals of both of them, you net them off. What you find, if you find that your guaranteed income is actually more than your necessary expenses, it means already you have the capability and the potential of living within your means. And when we're talking about necessary expenses, we're basically talking food, clothing, shelter. For those that have kids, school, things like little provisions. Three basic. Yes, exactly. Food, clothing, shelter, and then accommodation. Accommodation for kids, school fees, and all of that. Those are the basic things. That's right. Okay, then going for that. But now, first, that's the first thing you do. That's the first thing you do. The next one. What's the next thing you do? So once you do that, if you find that your income is actually more than your expenses, it means you have the potential. Now, in the flip side, if you find that your expenses are actually more, what it means is that your chosen lifestyle cannot be supported by your earnings. So that means you have to cut down on those basic needs. Cut down, but you actually have to reevaluate your entire lifestyle. It could be maybe where you're living is a bit more expensive. You need to go back. Exactly. The kind of food you buy, a little bit more. You need to cut back a little bit on that. So that's a lifestyle thing. The kind of clothes, where you buy clothes. That's right. So or maybe the number of clothes you have. The number of clothes you buy and things like that, and the frequency in which you buy. Then also look at dependents, people that you're actually paying for, people that you're shouldering, you're carrying, and things like that, gifts that you give, and all those little things all add up towards our lifestyle, our chosen lifestyle. So the second point you have said here is that if your income is not up to your expense, that means you can live within your means. And then if your expense is more than your income, your chosen then you lifestyle, have to cut down. You need to cut down on your expenses. You need to reevaluate your entire life. All right. For now. For now. So once you do that, I'm going back to the people that actually have a surplus, which means that they've discovered that they can actually have some extra income after they've netted off. Okay. In such situations, the next thing I would advise anybody to do is start building a habit of saving. Of saving, wow. The next thing. So you find that you have that surplus. You've extracted all the nice to have things and said, okay, you know what, for now, I'm going to temporarily keep that at bay and live within my means. The extra money you have, you start a culture of saving. Build a habit of savings, right? All right. So when you're building this habit of savings, nothing is too small to save. Even if it's 100 naira you're saving every month, it's not about the amount. It's about the habit that you're building. I've said that constantly. It is not about the amount. It's about the habit you're building. Okay. Because the day big money comes into your hand, if you haven't built that habit, you're not gonna know what to do with big money. You know, something. I want to take you back a little bit. Do you know? But quite a number of people don't even know
how much they spend.
That's
where it is. So to somebody that's earning 10,000, in our example which we use, and the person spends 15,000. That's for the person to even know he spends 15,000. That person has even gone further than a lot of people. So people don't even know. How can you put together, or how do people get together to put up a budget or something? How? No, let's treat that first. How do we, or you should, or let's let people know how important it is to know how much they spend. That's
exactly the perspective, the first point that we actually raised.
Yes.
You have to start documenting things down. You know, I saw a quote by Warren Buffett this morning. It says, things become risky when you don't know what you're doing, right? And ignorance is the biggest thing that is causing a lot of people not to know what they're doing in their finances. So you need to have a clear picture. And one of the things I commonly say is, if you don't want to have to remember anything, write it down.
And if you never when you actually write it down, you even remember
You
more.
actually remember more, because the act of actually writing, I find that out about myself. The act of actually writing down commits things into my memory.
Wow.
So always put things down. So when you're making this list of all your guaranteed income and making a list of all your necessary expenses, that is actually a form of budgeting. Look at, I mean, it's not really that hard.
All right, so moving it from, now after you've saved, after you've started saving, what next?
Right, so the next thing, because you know your borderline, you're in a position where even there's a possibility you still want the nice to haves. I'm not saying you shouldn't deny yourself nice to haves, but for you to get the nice to have things, you need to build your earnings capability. That's the third thing.
Build your earning capability.
You need to build your earnings capability.
Which would also increase your saving capability too.
Which would also increase your savings capability.
All right, and then after that?
Once you build your earnings capability, you already have the system that enables you to be able to recycle.
All right, so you can recycle that
That's
system
right.
over. So that is, I wanted to get that complete loop.
Yeah.
So ensure that you have your expenses are lower than your income.
Yep.
And that will allow you to save.
That's right.
And then once you can save, you now start building
your earning capability. Now, building your earnings capability should never stop. For the entire of your life, you keep on earning and earning, and your capacity to earn should always be increasing. You never be stagnant.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Sharrif. It was a nice expose this morning. I know quite a number of people have learned something. Even though you know it, when you hear it over and over again,
it helps.
It sticks. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move on.